Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I have been in a giant reading slump in the months of February and March. So I believe in those months I've only read like one book or something. No, I started reading again towards the end of March. Right now I am definitely out of my reading slump. I've been reading a lot, as you could see by all the new releases vlogs I've been doing. But of course, there were a couple books that I was anticipating that came out in February and March that I haven't gotten to yet, and I really wanted to make sure I got to those. So in this video, I will be reading 4 books that came out during my reading slump that I didn't get around to. And I need to do this intro pretty quickly because I have to leave in a bit to go meet Elsie Silver, which I'm so excited about. I will have some vlog clips, if I can, of me actually meeting her. So one of the books I'm going to be reading in this video is going to be Wild Side, of course. This one came out in March. The only non-romance is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This one also came out in March. And I have to say, with this one, I wasn't really planning on reading it because me as a reader and as a consumer of things, I don't really love it when authors or TV show makers or whatever go back to a series that I've already said goodbye to. And especially I don't really like it if they come back to it like a decade later. But I saw a lot of people really loving this book, so I felt like I really wanted to read it too. Deep End, which came out in February, which I got this pretty first edition with art in it as well. And what I really love is apparently, like, she dedicates this to, this one has to be for the Amsterdams. I don't know what that is all about, but of course I live in Amsterdam, so that's fun. And last but most certainly not least is The Rebel Witch, which is the sequel to The Crimson Moth or The Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli. And this one, I believe, also came out. Yeah, this one also came out in February. So this is my TBR for this vlog. As always, there's going to be timestamps in the description. So if you are not interested in watching me read all of them, then feel free to skip to the book that you're most interested in. And when you're down there, leave me a green heart emoji for both my outfit and for Wild Side, because this is actually also going to be the book that will be signed by Elsie. So I'll talk about that later in the vlog. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely make sure to leave a like if you do enjoy it. And let's cue to the vlog. Alrighty, so I started Wild Side. Technically, I started it like a week ago and then I stopped at chapter 5 for some reason. Well, I know the reason. It was my reading slump. And then I started and finished another book, which was Kiss the Villain, which I'll leave that linked for you. And now I feel like I'm getting out of my reading slump, so I went back to Wild Side and I'm on page 96 now. And I wanted to do an update right now before I go to bed. So before I even get started, one thing you need to know about me is apparently my type is fictional men named Reese, because 3 of my favorite books of all time have heroes named Reese in them. Of course, Rhysand from A Court of Mist and Fury is, nobody compares to him. No man ever alive, no man that has ever been alive or will ever be alive will ever compare to Rhysand from the ACOTAR series. And then, of course, also Rhys from Twisted Games, can you even see that, is, you know, a king among men. And then the X-Hex, one of my favorite books of all time, one of my favorite heroes of all time, is also named Rhys. So we're gonna see if this Rhys will enter in the Rhys Hall of Fame. So basically, Wild Side, it's gonna be a marriage of convenience romance. So far, we haven't gotten to that. So I'm on chapter 13, and you follow Tabitha and Rhys. And the way they are connected is through Tabitha's sister. 2 years ago, Tabitha and Rhys met for the first time when Erica, Tabitha's sister, moved into a house that is owned by Rhys. And now 2 years later, Erica, who was an addict, died, and Tabitha assumed that she was going to get full custody of her nephew. But Rhys destroys that illusion by telling her that he actually has full custody of Milo, Erica's son. And of course, Tabitha doesn't want that. She doesn't know Rhys. she assumed that of course she's going to take care of her nephew. Apparently, Erica has been telling Reese stories, false stories about her sister and her parents, or at least the parents did technically cut her off, so that technically is not a lie. But Reese, who's grown up in the foster system, just assumed that Erica's family was not good and not good to take care of Milo. And since he had such a horrible time in the foster care system, he wants to make sure that that doesn't happen to Milo because he does really love Milo. Of course, we have seen Reese and Tabitha around in the first two books. Some scenes that we see in here are verbatim scenes we've already seen in other books. And already Reese is starting to realize that maybe Erica has been lying about at least the sister. They both find each other extremely attractive. Both of them are kind of grumpy. He's not technically grumpy, he's just quiet. She's very much a grump, very much Black Cat energy. Right now where I'm at, they have come to this understanding that for now, since he has seen that she is taking good care of Milo, that Milo can stay there because both of them talked to a psychologist, and the psychologist told them that since his mom recently passed, to not really change up his life too much. And since they obviously live in Canada, since all Elsie Silver's stories take place in Canada, Reese is from the US, and due to immigration stuff, he cannot stay for an extended period of time. And I have a feeling that is gonna be the reason why they have to get married eventually. So far, I'm enjoying it. Elsie Silver's stories are just so easy to fly through. And I'm looking forward to when they finally do get married. Right now, when he's staying at in the town, he is staying at her place in the basement. So far, I mean, I like both of them, but I don't really get like top tier Reese vibes. Not like these three Reeses, but of course not every Reese can be perfect, I get that. But yeah, oh, what I forgot to mention is he's also a pro wrestler, but he's keeping that a secret, and he's keeping a lot of secrets. He decided that since Tabitha is grieving, a good way to grieve is to direct her anger at somebody, and he decided to be that somebody. So he doesn't really want to tell her the whole story of why, like what Erica told him about her, why he has full custody. And also he doesn't want to tell her about his profession because people in the past have used him for his money, including Erica, because he has figured out, okay, so that's probably the reason why I have full custody, is because I have the money to take care of him. Tabitha is a chef. She has her own restaurant. I do like that. I like reading about chefs. And Milo is very cute. He has a very good relationship with both of them. So I really am looking forward to seeing them connect because of Milo. They already do in a way, but actually have scenes with all three of them together. I'm very much looking forward to that. So yeah, definitely a heavier story because obviously grief is a very big part of this story. So I guess I'll update you. Maybe I'll update you once I'm halfway through. Once, hopefully, I will have more thoughts on the way they get married and how that happens. So I just finished Wild Side. Before I talk about this, yesterday, I think, I received this in the mail, but I will be returning it because something exciting is happening. Elsie Silver is coming to Amsterdam, which when I read that news yesterday, I squealed, I did a happy dance. I was so unbelievably excited because we don't really get a lot of authors visiting us in the Netherlands, or at least not that I'm aware of. Back when I lived in Rotterdam and back when I read YA predominantly, I did meet a couple authors. I met Lee Bardugo, I met Veronica Roth, I met Tahara Mafi, and I believe a couple others. But as far ever since I started reading romance, I haven't met any romance author. So unbelievably excited. Okay, so why does that mean I have to return this? Because tickets go on sale tomorrow, the 28th. And basically your ticket is you have to buy a book that she will sign. Not at the event. She will not do any signings at the event. She will pre-sign some books. And there were only 5 options, 2 of which are her books translated in Dutch. So I believe Flawless and Wild Love in Dutch. I don't want those because I read her books in English. Then there is Flawless in English, and I would get that one, But I mean, as much as I do love it, it's not my favorite in the Chestnut Spring series, so I don't really feel the need to have 2 copies of that one. And then there's the Gold Rush Ranch box set, which all the other books are about 18 euros. Oh, the Dutch ones are more expensive, 22 euros. So the Gold Rush Ranch box set is almost 50 euros, which I don't really like the traditionally published covers of that. That is the reason why I purchased that whole series in the indie version. So I don't want those. The only other option is Wild Side in English. So since this I just received in the mail, it's barely been touched because I've been reading this on audiobook, or I've been reading it on ebook. I don't feel bad returning it and then getting a new copy that is signed. As you're watching this, I'm planning on uploading this video on the 13th, and the event is on the 12th. So I will insert, if I film it, which I think I will a little bit, I will insert the clips of that after my update for this one. So with that being said, let's do the update. So Wild Side, I definitely did enjoy. I do have to say, one minor criticism is sometimes, like this, at least the physical book is 443 pages. I believe the ebook is even longer. Oh no, that's not true. And since it takes them a long time to finally actually get together, the middle part felt a little bit like a slog. I don't know. I think, even though I'm giving this book 5 stars, I think this would have been a little bit better paced had it been like 30 pages shorter, maybe even 50 pages shorter. I say that, but I mean, I do really love these two together. I love their banter. I love the mundane things they do. And I also do enjoy the fact that secrets slowly get unraveled. So I guess now looking back, I think I'm fine with the pages. Just reading it, I felt like, okay, so when are we getting to the good stuff, you know? At one point I was like, okay, just get it over with. Like I said, I did really enjoy the banter. I really love the friendships formed in this book, or in this series. I do have to say, I don't know, I guess Elsie Silver just really thrives with the female friendships, not so much with the male friendships. And in the Chestnut Spring series, it made sense since most of the guys in that series were related to each other. So she didn't really need to spend a lot of time building their relationships because it was implied since they were brothers, or one of them was a mentor of the other one. And even in that book, like with Reckless, I didn't really feel that much connection between the guys. So I guess it makes it more glaringly obvious in this book, that in this series, that even though the guys do have like a bowling team, we don't really see a whole lot of softer moments between these guys. Or at least we see it, but she just doesn't spend a whole lot of time building that, or she doesn't really spend a whole lot of time on that part, whereas she does with the girls, which, I mean, that's fine. I don't mind. I really like these friendships here, and I really love seeing, especially in this book, you saw more of Cora, which I really liked, because I felt like we didn't really see a whole lot of her in Wild Eyes. So far, I think Wild Eyes is still my favorite out of the 3 books. So I think as far as ranking is concerned, I think Wild Love is my is in 3rd place, Wild Side is in 2nd place, and then Wild Eyes is in 1st place. As far as Rhys is concerned, no, he did not climb up the ranks. I mean, he's a solid Rhys, and he is very attractive, but he doesn't compare to the other 3 in my opinion. Like I said, I did enjoy this book. I thought it was very sweet. I love their little family they have in the end with Rhys, Tabitha, and Milo. I think they work well together. I loved little Milo. He was such a scene stealer. He was so adorable. I loved him so much. I loved how it was really emphasized that everybody in this story is flawed. Not just Tabitha and Rhys, but also obviously her sister and Tabitha's parents. And I also like that, you know, some things don't get resolved. Like at the end of the day, you know, Erica died. She did some shitty things, and her loved ones are left to grapple with that, especially like obviously Tabitha is left to grapple with that. And I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, obviously like Erica is an addict. Did I talk about that? Yeah, so her sister, Erica, was an addict. She had been doing well for the last couple of years, and now she finally got back on her feet. She has her own apartment that she is renting from Rhys. And when she first moved in, Tabitha talks to Reese, saying that he needs to pinky promise her that if Erica is ever late on rent, that he will call Tabitha so that she can pay him the rent, just so he won't kick her and her son out. And then 2 years later, Tabitha finds out that Reese, in fact, did kick her out, and that ended up, like a couple days later, Erica dies. And so the beginning definitely is like Tabitha hates Reese. She thinks he broke his promise, and she just hates him for it because she kind of blames him for her sister dying. So yeah, throughout this book, you see Reese, because obviously Erica told him some stuff about Tabitha. You see Reese realizing what a good person Tabitha is, and you see Tabby really coming to terms with the fact that her sister may or may not have lied to her. I really enjoyed it. I really love Elsie Silver. Like, reading her books is just a delight. So the next one is an ex-boyfriend's dad story, which, if you know anything about me, that is one of my least favorite tropes. The reason why is because I don't begrudge the girl anything for getting together with her shitty ex's father. I have a hard time liking a dad who would sleep with his son's ex. So I don't know, I do have to say Elsie is one of the few authors I do trust with that trope. Like, it has to be done well. Like, I need the father to really, really, really feel bad about what's going on and really be conflicted about what's going on. And I know a lot of people don't really want that. I do, because I just want the dad to feel bad about it, because I don't know, like, out of all the girls in the world, you have to sleep with your son's ex, you know what I mean? This book, you really find a little bit more about Bash, who will be the hero, and Gwen. We meet her in this book, so I do enjoy both of them. So hopefully I'll love that trope when Elsie does it. And that is going to be the final book in this series. So this series only has 4 books. So yeah, I guess those are my thoughts for now. So I'm reading Sunrise at the Reaping, and I just finished part 1. So I'm on page 135. Before I tell you my thoughts, let me address 2 things. First of all, this cover. I'm sorry to the cover designer, I really am, but what is this cover? I hate it. I think it's so ugly, and with the budget that the Hunger Games has, I cannot believe that this is the cover. Like, what the fuck is this? I mean, I know what it is, but it's so ugly. Anyway. Also, I was really debating the reason so right now it is March 31st, and I knew this was coming out. I wasn't sure if I was going to read it because, I don't know, if you know anything about me, I really don't like it when a series is clearly finished, and that goes for TV shows, for movies, for books, and then the creator decides, like, 7 years later or whatever, to add on new books. I'm like, why are you doing that? I already said my goodbyes, okay? Why are we going back to this? So I definitely didn't read Ballad and the Songbird of Snakes, or whatever that book is called, because first of all, I have no interest in a book about fucking snow. I hate that man. But then I saw the reviews coming in for this one, and it's about Haymitch, obviously, who I do love. So I decided to pick it up. First of all, my thoughts. I really thought the kids at the in Katniss's games had it bad. They were living in luxury compared to what was happening in Haymitch's games. Like, I cannot believe that these kids who are sent to the slaughter are treated this horribly. Like, they are literally treated like animals. It's sickening and disgusting. So yeah, this book just makes me sad. Obviously, I knew that Haymitch was a part of the Hunger Games. It was devastating the way he became a tribute. Like, while I was reading it with my jaw almost to the floor. Like, I could not believe what I was reading. This book, you see a lot of familiar characters. You see Mags, of course, Mags. You see Mags, you see Beatty, you see Wyrus, and you see Plutarch. And it seems like Plutarch is already kind of doing some things behind the scenes, which is interesting to me because obviously this is 25 years before the events of Catching Fire. So I'm really wondering how long everything related to the Catching Fire plotline has been going on. By the way, this book made me want to reread the Hunger Games trilogy. I started watching the movies and I'm already on Mockingjay. Those movies are really good, truly. And Catching Fire just proved once again how much, like, that is one of my favorite books of all time and definitely one of my favorite movies. Yeah, so far this book is just sad. Also, to be honest, reading a prequel like this, I find it hard to connect to the characters because I already know their fates, you know what I mean? Like, I know it's the Hunger Games. I know only Haymitch will survive and the rest will all die. So I find it hard to really care about any of the other characters because I know they are dead people walking. And obviously with the other Hunger Games books, I mean, you knew you knew the rules to the game, but like you could, I mean, at least for me, I could convince myself the first time I read it, maybe they can change the rules, maybe things can change, maybe. What I also find horrible is, so this is obviously a quarter quell, which means all the rules are different, and this quarter quell will have double the tributes. I don't understand why you could not have two victors then. I think that would have been a more interesting thing to do for the capital, but of course they are not good people, obviously. So far, I am enjoying what I'm reading, but it's sad. I know it's gonna be sad. I know what horrors will await. So I'm not in a hurry to finish it, to be honest. So, yeah, I'll continue. I think I'll update you after part 2. So I just finished Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Yeah. Like, I literally just finished it like 5 minutes ago. So I know, at least I've seen a lot of thumbnails of people crying, and I didn't cry. I think for 2 reasons. One, I might be a heartless bitch. No, I don't think so. I find it very hard to cry in books in general. Usually, like the only times, I think I've only cried a handful of times with books. Like with movies or something, it's very easy to get me to cry. But with books, for some reason, I don't know, I think it's my brain protecting me with like mechanisms to avoid me actually crying. The only, like, of those handful of times have usually been rereads for me, when I know a certain death is coming, for example, so then my brain can protect me. Because usually what I do when I'm reading a book, I'm like, okay, this is like a dream. And then once, like at the point where it's clear that they have actually died, then the moment of crying has already passed, you know what I mean? So that is one reason. The second reason is, this is usually my problems with prequels, is I already know what happens because I've already read the original trilogy, you know what I mean? So I knew not to get attached to these characters that we're meeting because I know they're all marked for death. I know there's only going to be one victor, and I already know it's going to be Haymitch because, you know, I've read what happens 25 years in the future, you know what I mean? And I know technically that was also the case in the Hunger Games trilogy, but since that was not a prequel, I could still reason in my mind, you know, maybe Rue will survive, maybe Peter will survive, you know what I mean? Whereas with this, I already know there was no second victor in the 50th Hunger Games, you know, it was only Haymitch. So even though I did like Maisley, I did like Ampert, of course, oh my god, Ampert, but I knew they were marked for death, so I could not get myself really attached to them. So then I knew I was not gonna cry. I do have to say, like, the last couple of chapters, I didn't cry, but I still feel this pit in my stomach. It is sad. It's very sad what happened. Yes, I feel like I do understand Haymitch a little bit better. Do I think this book needed to be here? I don't think so, honestly. But, I mean, I'm glad that it's here for the people who wanted it, and I hope those people got what they wanted in a Haymitch book. This just solidified once again for me that I will never, ever, ever be reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because if I already hated Snow from the first 3 books, and this just proved once again what a sick fuck that man really is. I hate him, and I just wished he had suffered more. Ugh. And like I said, I didn't cry, but there were a lot of moments in this book that shocked me. Like, my jaw was on the floor, like I was repulsed, revolted, and shocked at some of the deaths in here. Like, it's cannibalistic, squirrels is all I have to say. Like, oh my god. So yeah, I read it. I think honestly, so I actually watched all 3 Hunger Games movies, and this book did really make me want to reread those books. I don't know if I'm going to be rereading this once I inevitably do my Hunger Games reread. I stand by my, even though I gave it 5 stars, and like I said, I am glad for the people who asked for this book that they finally got it, and I honestly really hope that it delivered for you guys. Just for me, I already explained it in the beginning, I'm not a fan of prequels coming out or sequels coming out like a decade later. Like, let me say goodbye to my series and move on with my life instead of getting back. And I know it was my choice to read it, but I honestly hope that this is going to be it for Suzanne Collins. Like, I hope, or at least I hope she writes something new. Like, I get it, the Hunger Games, I feel like we've got enough Hunger Games books. I think I really am just interested to see what else she writes, because she does have a beautiful writing style. Also, I know this is based on a like the future America, but if I remember correctly, in the Hunger Games trilogy, there was not really any reference to modern day literature or past literature, whereas in this, The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe was quoted a lot of times. And that kind of took me out of the story, honestly. Haymitch is one of my favorite characters, so I don't want to say I loved, because it was heartbreaking what he went through. I did find it interesting to read more about him. I loved seeing Mags and BT, and I loved seeing a lot of the characters we already know and love in this book. And we do see a lot of them because at this point in time, there's no known victor of District 12, so they have to get mentors from other districts. And it is interesting to see that even though the Hunger Games, when Katniss is a tribute, is barbaric and very bad, you know, you're literally sending kids out to die for entertainment, it was a little bit more civilized than what was happening here. The way they were like still in shackles and like not really treated right, it just really broke my heart. And I say once again, the people who say I try to stay out of politics because reading is not political, have you ever read The Hunger Games? Because this is a very, very, very political series. And I just find it so heartbreaking that things that, you know, that this book happened and still 25 more years of this oppression, of this brutality, like it's heartbreaking. I did love the epilogue though. So honestly, this book has just made me want to reread The Hunger Games again. So for those of you who have not read it yet, do I think you should pick it up? I would honestly say it's not necessary. Honestly, unless you really, really love Haymitch as a character, then I would say pick it up. I think that is really the only reason you should pick it up. If you feel like, okay, no, I read The Hunger Games and I'm fine leaving it at that, then you're not going to miss out on anything with not having read this, because Catching Fire tells you exactly what happened with Haymitch, like how Haymitch's Hunger Games ended and what happened, like what the aftermath was of that. Yes, there were things, like I said, that were shocking in here that we didn't know before, but I don't really think it adds a whole lot to the overall story. I think if you really read, and I've loved The Hunger Games, I think you're fine with that. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Did not cry. Not a single tear was shed. Definitely, I would really love to know what was your thoughts here. I'm gonna watch a lot of reviews on BookTube to see what the overall consensus is. I'm happy I read it. I don't think I'll reread it again, and I would only recommend it to Haymitch lovers. So yeah, the next book I'm planning, so I'm filming with a lot of other vlogs on a sleigh, but I think the next book I'm going to be reading is going to be Deep End, which I'm very, very excited about.
Don't have to tell your heart as a thing. Oh yeah, you just get it. Whole package, babe, I like the way you fit. God bless your dad's genetics. You make me wanna make you fall in love. Or late at night I'm thinking about you. I wanna tie up my fuzzy pink handcuffs.
So I just got back from the Elsie Silver signing, as you could see by the vlog clips. I'll leave the picture of us together right here. So I basically waited 2 hours in line for like 2 minutes with her, but that's okay. I really wanted her, I wanted my, like, a signed book by her, which I got. In fact, I got 3 signed books, which I'll explain. She was so sweet. She was very nice. Like, she basically, if I wanted to stay a little bit longer, I could have, but I don't know. I didn't really know what else to say to her. She was sweet. It was a very, very long line. Like I said, I waited 2 hours. The line was even like farther back. And it was good because it was very nice weather in Amsterdam today, so no complaining from me. So I, of course, got Wildside, like I said I would. And it was signed, of course. And I also got this bookmark, which I really like. So, and then after I was done with her, the salespeople were like, she signed some extra books. These are the options that are left. So I got Flawless too. So that was one of the only other like English options. And, you know, I also got Photo Finish, which I said I didn't want because technically, like, these are just like, I prefer the people on the covers, but now I basically have a book signed from each of her series so far, so I was like, okay. And I chose this one because this is about Violet Eaton, which of course she's the sibling to the Eatons, so hopefully we'll get some Eaton action. I haven't read the Gold Rush Ranch series yet, but I have a feeling from what I've heard by other people, and also since she's so obviously closely connected to the Eatons, that this will be my favorite. So let me show you. It's the same signature, of course. So obviously these are not personalized, since she did the signing yesterday, and then today was only taking pictures and like talking to the people. I don't mind. Like, do I like having my signatures personalized? Yes, but I do think it's more efficient this way. So she really got to take her time with everybody. Also, aside from my new prized possessions, my Elsie Silver signed books, I also got this, which is my new favorite thing in the world. Look at this. It's an Anya and a Bond. It's like thingy. What is it? A statue? It's not a statue. Like, anyway, whatever. Look how adorable. I don't know if you can really see that. How adorable is this? So yeah, they will stay with me forever. I love them so much. They're adorable. So as you could see by the vlog clips, I did start Deep End. I'm only about 50 pages of the way through. I did read it in line, but since there were so many people, I also got distracted, so I couldn't really focus on reading. But basically, hopefully I can get a good ways through today, so I'll give you my update. You'll see what I think of this book in the next update. So I'm on page 131 of Deep End. And this book you follow Scarlett and Lucas. And Scarlett is a junior student athlete specializing in platform diving. And Lucas is a swimmer who already won at least one gold medal in the Olympics. He's from Sweden, but I think he's been living in the US at least ever since he was a teenager. Scarlett last year has had a big injury while diving, and it seems like there's some sort of trauma or something related to that. We don't know for sure yet, but she's going to a psychologist, and not the sports psychologist that the athletes normally go to, in a different one. Basically with diving, there's like 5 or 6 different moves you can make, and one of them she just isn't able to do. She also has issues with her father. So she has basically been living, or I think her stepmom adopted her. So she has been living with so her mother died when she was very young. Then her father remarried, and she has mentioned that he was somebody who was screaming and yelling all the time, and because of that, she has kind of developed, she's kind of not scared of men, but she's very on guard when there's a man around that she doesn't know, or especially when there's multiple men around that she doesn't know. And she does have a very good relationship with her stepmom. It seems like that is really her role model in life. Her stepmom is a surgeon or a doctor, and she wants to be one as well. So Scarlett has a very, very busy life. Like, she is pre-med at Stanford. She is a student athlete. And on top of that, she's taking German, even though she sucks at foreign languages, but she thinks it will look good on her application for medical schools. Girl, I can totally relate. Like, I still have nightmares about German. Like, and I am actually, I grew up bilingual. I'm actually very good at or not very good, but I am pretty good at languages. German is just a different thing altogether. I thought German was going to be easy in high school because I'm Dutch. So, you know, Dutch and German, at least listening to it, it seems similar, but grammar is... I never managed to understand the German grammar, even though I had German for like 4 years or something. Like, in comparison, I also had Spanish. Spanish was much easier. Anyway, so enter Lucas. Lucas, at the beginning of the book, is her captain, is Scarlett's captain's boyfriend. Her captain confides in her that she's thinking of breaking up with Lucas, considering they really, like, their sexual preferences are not aligning. He is into BDSM. He is a dominant. He's dominant in the bedroom. Basically, her captain just wants like vanilla sex. She really doesn't want to do like the kinky stuff. So Scarlett, thinking she's helping, is like, you know what? I'm also into kink. And maybe I can give you tips on how to maybe navigate your relationship where you can maybe both get what you want. Instead of that happening, her team captain ends up breaking up with Lucas, and then when she's very drunk, she tells both of them that they should have sex with each other because she thinks that they can be compatible, even though they just broke up like last week or something. So Lucas is dominant, and Scarlett is submissive. So of course they don't do that, but they constantly keep running into each other because now they're also actually working, as if Scarlett didn't already have a lot going on. Adam from the Love Hypothesis wants her to work, or refers her to Olive from the Love Hypothesis to work on a research project because her assignment was so smart, basically, that he wants her to work on a research project. So on top of that, she's doing that. When she gets there, she realizes that Lucas has been working with Olive for a while now, and now they have to work together. So they are in forced proximity together, and now they both know, obviously, what the other one likes. And there was one conversation between them that made me giggle and kick my feet and just die almost. So he tells her, okay, want to get it out of the way? And she's like, get what out of the way? The elephant in the room, the one with the ball gag in his mouth. And she's like, wow, ball gags? Not really my thing, actually, he says. And then she says, maybe the elephant's just blindfolded. He nods slowly and tied up and doing as it's told. And he's like, what a good elephant. Fuck. I already love these two. So where I'm at in the story, they haven't done anything yet. But he, like, right from the beginning, like before they even started working together at this research project, he's like, he tells her that if she wants to try those things, he would be up for it. And like I said, they kind of have been skirting around each other. And now they finally had the conversation. He's like, you know what? There's two pathways for us. Either we forget we've ever had these conversations. We forget that, I forget his ex-girlfriend's name. What is her name? Pen. Yeah, Pen. We forget she ever mentioned anything. We just pretend that we don't know these things about each other and we just go on our merry ways. The other option is we meet up and see if we can arrange something. So now he has given her, like, I think, like, this list of kinks, and she has to, you know, cross the ones that she would be willing to try, ones that are definitely no's for her. So that's where we're at. So they actually haven't really done anything yet. So far, like, very lingering stares and some touches, but nothing actually physical. And from what I read in the background, on the back, it's gonna be like an arrangement. It's gonna be temporary. It's not gonna be an actual committed relationship. So I assumed that this was going to be like instantaneous, and that is just, like I said, where I'm like 30% of the way through. Nothing much has happened. So far I'm already liking this over Not in Love, which I just realized Ali's gonna publish 3 books this year because there's gonna be a sequel to Not in Love, which obviously I'm gonna read it even though I hated Not in Love. And then at the end of the year, she's gonna publish Mate, which I'm so excited about. So anyway, we'll see. I'm interested to see how Ali's gonna tackle the whole like submissive dominant thing and the whole BDSM thing, because in Not in Love she tried to do that, but like with the hero being, you know, a dominant hero, but he like there was only one scene of that, and he was not a dominant hero at all in my opinion. So Lucas already is delicious. Like I want to go to Sweden just to find a Lucas there. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue reading. So this is actually the first time that I'm putting a actual like licensed song in my video, which means that this video needs to be done on Monday so that it can go through all the checks and balances before it actually goes up on Wednesday, which means I need to finish this book plus start and finish another book over 400 pages in like 2 days. So we'll see if that can happen, because right now I'm kind of a little bit tired of reading. So we'll see. But I am really enjoying this book so far. I don't know, maybe I'll actually update you before, like when I'm actually halfway through. And if not, I'll just update you once I finish. All right, I am on page 309 of Deep End. And I still need to read about like 130 pages to finish. And where I'm at now, I wanted to update you because right now I'm kind of in a lull. So from when I updated you last until now, Scarlett and Lucas finally had sex, and I do have to say, Miss Ali, these are the best sex scenes she's ever written. Like I thought she did a great job with those. I don't want to keep comparing this book to her last release, but that book was supposed to be like an erotic romance. I feel like this one, even though they have less sex scenes, I feel like the sex they do have, its purpose is more along the lines of an erotic romance. I do feel like their sex scenes do aid in the relationship development and in the character development, so I do enjoy them. I think they're very, very, very hot. I do definitely understand why she wanted to name this book Wet, because anyway, so I do enjoy that. But right where we're at now, I feel like, so it's like 10 chapters maybe of them not being together. Like obviously both of them are busy. He's busy competing for Sweden and stuff like that, and she's busy with her own competitions. But to me, it's just a little bit boring. I'm sorry. Like I know it's a sports romance. I know obviously these people need to have other things going on aside just from the romance, but to me as a reader, as a romance reader at that, I don't really care about this plot line. It feels like this book is a little bit too long. I feel like she could have right now already, even though I have not finished this book yet, it feels like she could have already cut like 50 pages from the middle. I just find myself, even though like before I was like flipping the pages, wanting to know what was gonna happen, really intrigued. Now it's pretty easy for me to put this book down. I don't really find myself that intrigued, even though yes, I am rooting for that relationship. Although I do have to say, one big thing that's bothering me is obviously Lucas and Penn, his ex, they're friends. Obviously it's explained by Lucas why he's such a good friend to her, like why she's such a good friend to him, and I understand all that. But I am getting so annoyed with them still pretending that they are still a couple. And on the one hand, that would be fine, except there's already like at least 3 scenes where they are pretending to be a couple, being touchy-feely, and Scarlett being on the outside of that. And that, to me, I don't like that. It makes Lucas unlikable and makes Penn also unlikable. It just makes me feel so bad for Scarlett, because she already has like social issues, the fact that she doesn't really know how to pick up on clues, the fact that she thinks that she's not an interesting person, and now that Lucas is somebody that she is confiding in and she is slowly realizing that he does care about her. And to have those scenes where even though she is the one that he is interested in, and it is clear already in the story that there's a different dynamic going on and that he already is treating her better than he did Pen when they were together. When it's in private though, and I don't like that it feels like their relationship is a secret, it's hidden. He can only be sweet and say sweet things to her when they're in private, whereas when they're in public, almost have to pretend like they don't know each other or not interested in each other. And I just find that a little bit icky. It makes me, even though I still think Scarlett, I definitely like her, and I do like Lucas. It's not that I don't like him, but these moments, it makes him unlikable to me. And I want it to stop happening. I just want them to say, you know what, we broke up. And especially since Ben has already moved on, like she has her own relationship. I don't see any added value of them still pretending that they are still a couple. Like there's no added benefit to them. Like if it was like some sort of plot thing, but there isn't really. So in that case, it just hurts our main character, and I'm rooting for her. So yeah, that is annoying. So that combined with the fact that it's like 50 pages of nothing romantic, I'm at the point where I'm kind of getting bored. Hopefully things will pick up soon, and we'll see. Also, one fun thing is, since I already showed you Amsterdam in this vlog, apparently there is a possibility, and I do think she's going, of her actually going to Amsterdam, so that's fun to read about. I always like it when the Netherlands get mentioned or the people visit the Netherlands, usually Amsterdam. I do love that. Also, I do have to say, okay, so I almost read every Ali Hazelwood book, except for the one I haven't read or tried to read is her young adult book. So far, the only book that she's published where it's dual point of view is Not in Love. And I don't need to explain my feelings about that book. This one is single point of view again, and I do feel like she does that better. It makes even though I do love dual point of view stories, I always love getting the guy's point of view. But in case of Ali Hazelwood, especially since her main male characters usually have had like a crush on the girl for years and years, I do like the fact that we are just as interested in his thought process, in what's going on in his head as the main character, so I do like that. I guess those are my thoughts for now. I just wanted to talk about my frustrations at this point in the story. Hopefully it will get better. Right now where I'm at, it feels like it's gonna be, I don't think this is gonna be 5 stars. I just don't. It already feels too long. I'm already not 100% in love with the main male character. And already, I don't know, I feel like there's a plot thing that's gonna happen that's also gonna annoy me. Hopefully my voice. Hopefully it doesn't go the way I think it's going. I really hope it's not. So far it sits at a 4. It would really, and I don't think it's gonna get a 5 unless the last 130 pages are like the best thing I've ever read, which I don't think that can be, considering it's gonna take a couple chapters before, I think it's gonna be like one extra chapter and then they're gonna be together again. So we'll have to see. And so right now it's a 4. It could get lower, hopefully not, but we'll see. So my final update is gonna be for Deep End. I also wanted to tell you, I have decided to not read Rebel Witch in this vlog as much as I want to, but cramming it in this vlog that I want to upload on Wednesday means I have to, so on Tuesdays I go on to Rotterdam because I work in Rotterdam on Wednesdays. So that would mean I'd have to take my laptop with me. And I don't want to do that. It's a hassle, it's heavy, and it's a pretty expensive laptop. So I really, if I can avoid bringing it with me, I usually do. So, and since the next vlog I'm going to be doing is me finishing up as many series as I can, I'm going to put the Rebel Witch in that vlog, considering it's a duology and that book does finish off a series. It will be, for me, the next book I'm going to be reading. So for me, it doesn't really, it doesn't make any difference because it was going to be the next book I was going to read anyways. So I'm really sorry if you were looking forward to my thoughts on Rebel Witch. I will tell you all my in-depth thoughts in that finishing series vlog. If you want to know like quick thoughts in the meantime, follow me on Goodreads because I update as soon as I finish books, so check that out. And if not, if you can wait, then my next vlog, I will be reading Rebel Witch in that vlog. So yeah. I'm gonna continue reading Deep End. Hopefully I can finish it today, and if not, then for sure early tomorrow. So I finished Deep End and I'm gonna give it 3 stars, which, to be honest, I'm not on a good track record with Ali Hazelwood at the moment, because the first 3 books I read by her, which were The Love Hypothesis, Love Theoretically, and Bride, I gave all of them 5 stars. And ever since Bride, I haven't given any of her books 5 stars. I gave one book 2 stars, one book I DNF'd, and now Deep End is a 3-star. I did read one of her novellas and I did enjoy that one, but as far as her full-length books are concerned, anyway, I was debating giving this book a 2-star, honestly, because I thought I knew what the ending was going to be, and if it was going to be what I thought it was going to be, this would have been 2 stars, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't really want to go in depth about that. If you want to know like what I thought was going to happen, let me know and I'll give you more thoughts. For now, I'm just glad what I thought was going to happen didn't happen, which saved this book in the end for me. And 3 stars does mean I would still recommend it. It's not a bad book. It means I did enjoy I did enjoy reading it, although I do have to say I had to force myself to read like the ending, like the last 100 pages or something. That was a struggle for me, but since I really did enjoy the first 150 or so pages, that is kind of what saved this book for me, plus the fact that the ending could have been worse. If you hear that, that is my dishwasher. Okay, what were my problems with this book? Well, first of all, this girl had, well, I'm gonna leave Sarah Caroli, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I'll leave her Goodreads review right here, and I would say, I think I definitely do agree with her. Like, the real main character here, and not in my opinion, in Scarlett's opinion, the actual main character was Pen. Like, the amount of times this girl thought about Pen boggles the mind, especially since she had so many other things going on. And the main problem with that is Scarlett had no agency, in my opinion. And yes, part of that is explained by her personality, but another part of that, it just doesn't make any sense. And I think both of them, like both her and Lucas, made some weird decisions, because at the end of the day, I still don't understand why Lucas didn't insist on him and Pen actually breaking up, officially breaking up, letting the whole world know that they were broken up, because at one point these two were already broken up for almost a year, yet nobody knew. And I still, you cannot explain to me why that was the case, except for the fact that Lucas had just as little agency as Scarlett did. Even though in my second update, I did tell you, okay, so I was rooting for them because I did enjoy Scarlett. And yes, a part of me was still rooting for them, but then on the other part, I was like, you know what? You deserve what is happening to you, because it is so unnecessary, this drama. Like, it is, like, I don't understand why it needed to happen that way. And so she had no agency over her love life, but I feel like in this book, Ali really made her have no agency over any aspect of her life. One other big thing is her sports accomplishment. The only reason this girl got where she got in this book is because everybody else sucked, and not because of her own merits. And I'm not saying that, the author is saying that, because I don't understand why. I get it, she had an injury, I get that, but I just feel like the way it happened made, I don't know, I just feel like it wasn't fair to the main character. Either have her be not as good as she was, and then in that case, don't have her win something, or have her win something based on the fact that she's actually good and not because the rest is so sucky. That leads me into another big problem I had with this book, is that there was too many focus on other things. The biggest thing is their sports. I get it, it's a sports romance, I get that. And I do have to say, so most of the sports romances I've read, it was only one of them was actually in sports and the other one wasn't. And maybe I prefer those, although I do have to say in this like way too much time was spent on her sports. Like, I just don't give a fuck. Like, I don't watch swimming, I don't watch diving. And yes, obviously I'm reading a sports romance, I do want to read about your sport, but not to the detriment of the romance, which I felt like all the other side plots going on, her obsessing over Pen, like the amount of pages spent on the sport definitely was in detriment to the romance, because at the end of the day, I just didn't really believe in this romance. Like, because we never really got to see them. The romance wasn't developed enough for me. The only thing that was explained to me is that they are compatibly sexually, and the fact that he is there, he seems to notice a lot of things about her and knows how to deal with that. But that to me can still just explain the sexual relationship. You know, I get it if you put your trust in somebody to dominate you. It is, especially when you have like a whole BDSM contract, stuff like that, it makes sense that that same person would also, since it is so pivotal that the dominant one understands the submissive's cues and subtle cues, so it would make sense that like a dominant in that situation would realize when, like, would understand when she's not doing well outside of the bedroom. So that to me does not explain their romance really. Like, I guess I believe it that they are in love with each other, especially since they have been around each other for months and apparently like both of them are getting things they never had before. But we never really spent any time with subtle, quiet moments because this relationship, as I said in my previous update, felt like it was a secret. And even when they were together, I felt like she just didn't spend enough pages on the romance because most of it was spent on other things. We never really had some quiet moments with them. We never really saw them go on like dates, getting to know each other. None of that happened. Like it was like sometimes, but it was very brief and not enough to develop the romance in my opinion. Alongside that, I didn't feel like he fought for her at all. Like so I'm going back to the whole agency thing. He went along with everything, even though it hurt Scarlett. And he should know better considering he knows her, or so he claims. So he knows she's not going to be the one to stick up for herself. So he has to be the one to do it. So I just felt like the secret relationship, him still being with his ex for the outside world, that went on for way too long. The fact that we never really delved into their actual relationship, plus the sports that took over this plot, made me not really love this. Also, let's talk about this. Even though I did mention in the beginning that I did like the kinky stuff in this book, towards the end of the book, that also rarely happened. Like at one point, they never really like throughout like 200 pages of this book, or like 150 pages of this book, they only saw each other like once. So towards the ending, we had like a couple sex scenes and they were fine. I do feel like this is her best written sex scenes that she's written. Although, if you want actual kinky stuff, I would refer you to indie published books. But even like, for example, Butcher and Blackbird, that series, that is traditionally published, and those sex scenes were definitely kinkier than what was happening here. And I get it, they're college student, I guess, but they had like this whole list of all different types of kinks. We never got to see that. So I feel like we were kind of teased with something, and at the end of the day, like, what did they actually do? Like, he spanked her a couple times, and they had some like half of an anal sex scene, I guess. That is it. That was the kinkiest they went. And yes, he did praise her a lot. He called her a good girl a lot, which I did enjoy. And having said all that, like, what I'm saying now doesn't negate everything I said in the beginning, because I did enjoy those things in the beginning. Like, I was pleasantly surprised that she went like a little bit dirtier in this book. But I just, at the end of the day, all the other things were bothering me too much, and the sex scenes that were there weren't enough to save this book for me. And this book was way too long, in my opinion. Like, I felt it halfway through, but 440 pages was just not necessary at all. I feel like if she had cut 100 pages, that would have saved all my issues with this book, because then hopefully those 100 pages would be all the swimming competition and all her obsessing about Penn, which makes the parts that were focused on the romance more balanced with the other things that were happening. I just felt like, I keep repeating myself, I don't think I need to do that anymore. And, you know, at one point she says, maybe you cannot be the center of everyone's world. She says that, or she thinks it about Penn, and I'm like, bitch, that is not Penn's fault. That is your fault. You made her the center of your world, nobody else. Because I just feel like this could have been sorted real fast. Like, after 2 months of you guys doing the things you're doing, liking each other, you could have went to Penn and be like, you know what? I think we should just officially break up. Like, who the fuck is she to determine, especially I'm talking to Lucas right now, who the fuck is she to determine how the rest of the world sees you and your relationship? You know that you're broken up. There is no reason whatsoever. There's no benefit to you, and not even to Penn, to pretend that you're still a couple. So in that case, it's needless, annoying stuff just for the plot. In other stories, I might understand why you would still pretend that you're a couple with your ex, because it might benefit you. Like, I can think of countless stories, but not in this story, because it was never explained, because there was no reason for them to still pretend to be a couple. None at all. So yeah, having said all that, I will still be picking up other Ali Hazelwood books. I know she can do it. I have given her, like, half of the books I read by her, I've given 5 stars. And I know probably it is because she's confined to a traditionally published story, but like I said, Butcher and Blackbird and Leather and Lark were way kinkier. Like, there, I don't need to go into that. And I do have to say, like, I keep going back, I do but I do appreciate that she didn't end it the way I thought she was gonna end it. So yeah, those were my thoughts about Deep End. So unfortunately my ratings went down as this vlog progressed. My first book I gave 5 stars, which was Wild Side by Elsie Silver. Then my second book, Sunrise on the Reaping, I gave 4 stars. And then Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, I gave 3 stars. Definitely let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts were. I would really like to know if you've read some new releases this year. What was your favorite new release you read this year? I might push that higher up on my own TBR. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.